Gopalakrishnan, former, of course, top management leader at Infosys, talking about the road ahead for the Indian IT sector and his own assessment of whether Infosys has turned a corner.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining with us here in CMC TV 18. So you're an active investor in the domestic startup space, and you've been advising several of the startups here in India. How do you see that the growth of startups here in India panning out, and is the ecosystem conducive enough for startups to grow here in India?
Definitely, and I see the environment maturing. The number of startups is increasing dramatically. If I look at a place like Bangalore, and I come from Bangalore, it's amazing the number of startups that I see every single day. Funding is available. The whole funding environment is maturing. Why I say this is because you're seeing significant amount of funding now coming into the startups. The size of ticket size is running into now hundreds of millions of dollars actually. So clearly we are maturing into a very vibrant, very dynamic ecosystem for startups. Now these are primarily in metros. So now the challenge is to take this to tier 3, tier 4 cities, pan-India. India is a very vast country. So we need to take these kind of environments and maybe make them available, accessible to places like Erode or Salem or Hubli, places like that.
Sure. So by talking about the challenges that startups here in India could be facing, few startups are moving their offices overseas. Some are also contemplating listing overseas. In terms of regulatory framework, what do you see that there are challenges that lies ahead at this point in time?
So these are related to funding, valuation, etc. Ease of doing business is addressing many of these issues, but we need to continuously push forward, continuously address these issues. How we look at capital appreciation, how we look at capital gains tax, how the funds are treated. I think we need to continue to address these issues so that as these companies become larger, as they are becoming ready for listing, they list in India. India becomes a place for registered businesses.
Right. So talking about...
All right, time for a break now, but coming up, the